deciding who to appoint as executor, you need to make sure that person is able and willing. Why I say willing? I have seen cases where a client comes to me and say that, oh, actually, I didn't even know I was appointed as the executor in my family member's will. I don't want to do this. And if you have a situation where you have a will, but then you only have one executor who doesn't want to carry out the duties, then there will be a little bit of complication in that you have to take out an application known as a letters of administration with will annex. That means that there's a will, but there's no executor. So the court needs to appoint an executor. I also usually advise clients, you can appoint up to 4, but my suggestion is usually 2 lah. How do you want to structure it? Do you want, if person A cannot or don't want, then person B, or both jointly? It would be good to have 2 jointly, not too many, because too many logistically is a bit more of a hassle later on. Like if you want to sell the house, you want to open estate accounts, everybody must be there. It can be a little bit more inconvenient for everybody lah. But it's also good to have 2 for accountability reason. If something happens to the other one, and I always do advise the clients, I say that, look, if you are appointing an executor, sometimes people say, okay, I want to appoint the ones most trusted to me, the one who's agreeable, but then they appoint the elderly parents. Your parents might want to, right? Do you really think your parents, your elderly parents will want to go up and down to HDB or want to go to the bank? You know, you need to think through who's that person. If you appoint 2, it can be one person is a bit more savvy than the other financially, because if you appoint somebody who is very old, very frail, they may not know, right? It's not that they are not trustworthy, but they may not know, so they end up sitting on it, right? Only when something happens much later, then they discover, hey, actually this should have been done earlier. Now what happens if, let's say, there are cases where executors don't perform their duties, then all the family members are just start waiting like, can you faster, right? Then there can be applications made to court to compel this person to start the process, and if he still refuses to, an application can be made where there's a replacement. Another beneficiary steps out and become
the replacement. Must be the family itself, or can be like the uncle or the whatever?
Usually it's the immediate family, but if not, then everybody has to agree. There will be documents where they consent. So that's for starting the process itself. So let me talk about the responsibilities of the executor and the administrator. Okay, to get that court order for whether a grant of probate where there's a will, or grant of letters of administration where there's no will, the executor or the administrator needs to sign a document known as the administration oath. Basically, I angkat sumpah that, okay, I will distribute properly, I will pay off the debts properly, you know, accountability lah. Okay, so this executor has to be accountable. You need to track all the payments. So let's say once the court order is out, this person has to be responsible to open an estate bank account. So nama estate account is in the estate of nama yang arwahnya. All the monies that's supposed to come in, let's say sale of the deceased HDB, insurance apa, will go into this account, and duit yang nak bayar debts will come out from this account. Then you distribute lah however you want. Right? When you distribute the assets, or whether or not you pay off debts, monies come in, you need to be accountable as the executor or the administrator. If any beneficiaries ask, you tak boleh marah lah, like jangan sibuk you have to be accountable lah. For you to do that, you need to track, you need to know that your role as executor is important lah, is amanah, you know. There are some people who say that I don't want to be executor, is berat tau, tanggungjawab ni berat, is berat dunia akhirat.
Some people don't want to do it.
Yes, correct. In the law in Singapore, like let's say the executor takes a while to distribute the assets, the amount that's distributed to each beneficiary doesn't seem to tally, then the beneficiary has the right to ask and say, hey, how come this one, like Mak had this private property and got some jewelry, got some bank account, asal the amount I get only 10,000, can you provide a breakdown? And that person is required to provide a breakdown. If the beneficiaries feel that the executor or the administrator is breaching the roles of, they call it a fiduciary duty, basically your amanah lah, right? If they feel that this person is tak amanah, you have the right to actually sue this person in court As executors, do know what your role will be, especially when there are minor beneficiaries involved, that whoever who is in charge of this bank account, so for example, this executor is also appointed as the trustee of the bank account and all that, right? This executor or administrator will be responsible until the last beneficiary gets the amount. So if you have minor beneficiaries, meaning under 21, let's say I am the appointed person lah, okay? So my brother, let's say, passes away and got 2 young children, 4 years old, 3 years old. It means I am responsible until this child turns 21.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
Not everybody wants to take on that responsibility. Alamak, this next 18
Yeah.
I have to juggle this account, right? So those are the roles of the administrator. So if there's a will appointing you, you need to make this application to court for the court to basically confirm, okay, yes, you are the executor, yes, I give you the authority to distribute the assets.